Hello and welcome back. This is Philip with another Mech Warrior Online tutorial video. I'm going to state right up front that there's not going to be any combat this time because we're talking about your first mech, buying your first mech, what you should be looking for, and whatnot. At this point you should be finished with your cadet bonus, which should net you somewhere around 8 to 10 million C-bills, the primary money within the game. There's also MC, which you have to buy with real money or get through events, which there's not any events running right now, so I don't know why I actually bothered hitting the button, but they would be right here. These are past events. It's good to check that in case you did an event and never claimed any of your things, and I've never seen future events working. But that's a good way to get MC without having to spend money, is always be on top of your events. This is my Hunchback 4SP, which is what I myself would recommend as a first mech, but I've pulled up other options. Like I said, you're going to have, after finishing your cadet bonus, you're going to have between 8 and 10 mil. Most people are going to push you toward heavy mechs. And as you can see, the Hellbringer being 40% off right now is actually well within that range. And this is the primary mech that most people are going to recommend as a starting mech. It's certainly a very good mech and requires a lot less work to be able to get it up and running. Their stock builds are all fairly usable at the very least. So the Hellbringer is good to go for. You just might have to grind out a few more matches with trial mechs or be lucky enough to catch it on a sale like it is right now. And I would overall agree, it is a very good mech. It's durable, it's fast at 81 kph. They carry good firepower. This particular one, the Hunchback B, which is what I had bought, has a Gauss rifle, ER small, LBX-5, and 2 SRM-6 Artemis, and a 1.93 heat management. That's very good as a stock build. Going to be a bit wonky, but it gives you several different weapon systems to learn how to use. For heavies, I would actually more recommend the Catapult C1 or the Catapult K2 if you're more interested in ballistics and energy. The Catapult A1 is good, except while you're in the shop you can go into the mech lab and look at them. You can't do anything to them, but all of its missile points are on the arms, and that's the only weapons it has is 6 missile points. So you can make some pretty mean builds with it, but I would not recommend it for a first mech, compared to the Catapult C1, which only has 2 missile slots, but works very good with those 4 medium lasers. I myself run a super stock build, which is essentially the same type of loadout that the stock comes with, just maximized. It's actually one of my favorite mechs. Still 4 medium lasers, still 2 LRM-15s, but I made them Artemis, carrying more ammo. I am using an XL engine in this. When you're starting out, I would recommend not using any XL engines, but with the way the catapult nose is shaped, once you start learning to twist better and protect yourself, the XL engine isn't too terrible in a catapult. The K2 can be set up with a dual AC-20 build, a dual Gauss rifle build, the dual PPC standard type of build that it comes with. And overall, this stock build is very good. And it's quite a durable mech, running the greater majority of its armor, 64.8, which is a respectable speed, and 1.44 heat management. For brawlers, I like to keep myself as close to 1.5 as possible, and this one isn't even a brawler and nearly got there. It's more of a sniper. The Catapult C4 is also one that can be considered if you want to take less laser power for more missile power. And of course have the fact that you have some C4 in your mech bay. The Orion 2C is quite a good pickup that's not going to give you much room to be able to change the build on it to begin with, because it's going to take most of your money, but you can switch around some of the weapons. I do like the 2C models. They are the upgraded model to Clan Tech, and they actually use engines that you can switch out and everything versus Omni-mechs like the Hellbringer, which if you look in here you can't touch the engines, and there's several other things that are locked in place. You can't change the structure, the heatsink setup, or the armor. But on your standard Klein mechs, you can change all of that as well. And your inner sphere doesn't have Omni-mech, so you're always able to change everything. I'm not myself a fan of the Warhammer, but several of the Gilligan's Ghosts do like the Warhammers and think them to be a very good starting mech. 64.8, 1.2 heat efficiency on this one. Let's see, I think it was the 4L I was looking at that I might use myself if I were to buy a brand new one. 1.15 heat efficiency, so you're mostly going to want to use his 2 ERPPCs from a distance. Not entirely sure I like the stock builds on these, but the mechs themselves have really good quirks, which you'll see on that window that pops up, all the green writing underneath the enhancements line, where these give PPCs plus 20, velocity plus 20%, heat generation minus 10%, missile cooldown, all of that. You always want to pay attention to your perks. You want to make sure that the mech you're buying is going to be useful to the types of weapons that you like to use. But again, heavies just take the greater majority of the money that you would have at this point in time, which is why I myself would actually recommend going with mediums. At the same time, it pops up like right over here. You'll see whether or not it has standard heat sinks or double heat sinks. That's a pretty expensive upgrade and pretty important one to look for. It's going to cost $1.5 million for you to upgrade a mech with that. The Crabs, however, are all pretty good mechs. The 27B is the cheapest one with double heat sinks on it, and is not a terrible mech. 2 ER large lasers, a small laser, and a medium laser. So the 2 ER larges are likely in the arms. Yep. Small head laser and a medium laser. There's several good builds that you could do for that one. It has, you'll see up here, that it has 0 ballistic, 6 energy slots, 0 missile, 1 AMS, 0 ECM. So it's a pure energy, which is not surprising. I think all of the Crabs are pure energy. Nope, they've got the Hero actually has a ballistic slot. But at 4.2 million, you could actually buy this and be able to start doing a build on it right away. Possibly even having enough money to change the engine that's on it. Not that you necessarily have to, it's already moving 81 kph. So you could keep that engine and just change the build to energy setup that you prefer to use. As for starting mechs that I myself would definitely recommend, it would be the Hunchbacks. Primarily the Hunchback 4SP. It is a fairly fast mech, At stock, it's only 64.8, but it can handle a much larger engine. Max engine is up over here. It gives a 275 as the max. I myself run a standard 270 engine in it, and with speed tweak that gives it 95.8 kph. I'm still using mostly a stock build on mine, just like my catapult. I dropped the small laser off of it, went with Artemis for the SRM6s and the 4 medium lasers. And of course, I upgraded to double heat sinks. That's one of the bad things about the Hunchbacks, is none of them come stock with double heat sinks. You're going to have to spend that 1.5 mil to get started. The 4SP, though, it's got all the strengths of the Hunchback without the primary weakness that exists on the other two that I would recommend. The Hunchback 4P has the big laser box. The primary build that I would run on this one is still the same type of engine as over here. It's like a standard 260 I run in mine with 9 medium lasers overall. Very nasty, very effective, quite fast. And then my personal favorite Hunchback is the Hunchback 4G, but herein lies the biggest problem. You got 3 medium lasers and an AC-20 is what I run on it, and you have to learn how to protect with both the 4P and the 4G this massive cannon part. People are very good at shooting those off. Very good, because you can even see it from this side. When you're twisting, you have to twist around and give them your back to some extent, which is why on both of these I run almost a full 1/3 of my torso armor on the back, so I can try to protect that cannon better. But the 4SP doesn't have this weakness. You can just charge around alongside your light mechs once you get it fully upgraded and skilled out. So that's pretty much my favorite for a start. But not everybody's interested in inner sphere mechs. So for the clans, I would say the Nova is very good. Any of the Novas, obviously. Again, look at the perks, figure out which ones that you want perks on. But the Nova is an Omni-mech. So if you decide that you're going to be switching out your Omnipods, taking them off and changing them around, then the quirks aren't going to matter at all. I myself have 2 of these. The triple AMS, because screw your missiles, and a Nova S that I had actually bought. The Champion Nova was given to me for completing an event at some point in time. They're fairly fast. They have jump jets, giving them even more maneuverability. 1.4 heat management on the Champion, though that one actually costs MC, so not one of the ones you would want to look at. The Prime is 1.01. The Bravo has a 1.44 heat efficiency, carrying an Ultra AC-5, 2 machine guns, an ER small, and a large pulse. You could quickly and easily change that around after earning a bit more money, because that's going to cost most of it. Though some of the weapons are cheap enough that you could probably switch it around a little bit at least. And also the Vapor Eagles. Obviously, while they're on sale, they're going to give you plenty of money to upgrade your mech, but overall they're very fast, very jump capable. I'm pretty sure that all of them are quite warm when it comes to heat efficiency from the get-go. The best one is the Vapor Eagle 4, which is using ATMs, ER medium lasers, and ER smalls. 7 energy and 2 missile. That could be quite evil. And this is a clan mech, but it's a standard clan mech, meaning you can change out your engine and completely change its build. And then for light mechs, I primarily recommend Commandos and Locusts for Inner Sphere. With light mechs, you're always going to be squishy, but these are very reliable and easy to build. And pretty much choose your quirks and your weapon setup as you want. The Kit Fox C is a very good one. Comes with the electronic countermeasure on it, as well as triple AMS. So screw your missiles and screw your lock. It's very decent little starter that doesn't need much in the way of upgrading, just switching a few weapons. Again, the Kit Fox is an Omni-Mech. Let's see. And the Piranha is another good one. I like the Piranha 1. It's got lots of machine guns. It's very good with its machine guns. But apparently doesn't have the enhancements that the Piranha 3 does, which is the other Piranha that I really like. These are standard clan mech, so you can change everything, which is good. I do believe you can put a larger engine on them. Oh, nope. The 3 already comes with its max engine. Oh, I guess they all do. So at least you don't have to change the engine, but you can. You can make them slower and carry more firepower. And there are a few assaults that you can afford, but obviously they are going to wind up costing you quite a bit of extra money on the side because they are all running standard heat sinks except for the clanners. The Hatamoto Chi is very fun. I've just got the one myself that I just picked up not too long ago. Because of its cheapness, I would say that it's something you can pick up, but really none of the Inner Sphere assault mechs should be your first mech that you can purchase. And I love my awesomes, as you can tell. I've got all of them, but they're not a good first mech. Instead, if you're going to go for an assault for a first mech, I would push you towards the clan with either the Highlander 2Cs, which are a standard clan mech, or the Marauder 2Cs, which are also a standard clan mech. You'll be able to change everything on either one of these very effectively. Both are tough mechs. The Marauder 2Cs are overall better at brawling. The Highlander 2Cs are better at long range. And those are the primary ones that you'll be able to afford that I think you should look at. And then there's also going off the beaten path. I myself am going to want to buy an Archer at this point in time. So you select there to purchase it, whether you're going to be using MC or C bills, and then click on here and purchase your card. So let's go ahead and look at this as if it were my first starting mech and how I can try to fix it for myself, how much it's going to cost. And it was 6.5 mil, little more than, to buy this. I'm going to want Artemis, I want Endo Steel, and double heat sinks. I go with Endo Steel because it'll give you more tonnage overall than ferrofibrous would. And it's got fairly close to full armor. So it's already at 2.4 million that I'm having to spend just for doing the Endo Steel, double heat sinks, and the Artemis. That was before putting any weapons on. 3 mil. It gets quite expensive very quickly. and there's no engine equipped, so I actually was going to be putting an XL engine in this. It can go up to the 340, but that's going to be 5 mil. How fast would that make it though? 78.7. Wouldn't give me very much tonnage left over for weapons though. And something else that you could do, and I might actually do, is go for light engines. Light engines are the same size as Clan XL, so they only take up 2 torso slots, so you won't be killed as soon as one side is blown off. But with the CT weapons, part of me just wants to go back to that standard engine, so let's go ahead and use its stock engine for now. And shove a double heat sink in there. So this isn't going to give me much room for ammo with the LRM-20s. So instead of the LRM-20s, let's go with my favorite missiles, the LRM-15 Artemis. Actually, you could go with medium lasers. That gives you overall better laser power, but I really do like my ER small lasers as backup weapons for a missile boat. They are a beautiful little knife. I'm still sitting at a 1.3 heat efficiency, which is not bad at all. And let's go ahead and shove 2 double heat sinks in. Some ammo, put a half ton in the head. When ammo is pulled from your mech, it will come from your head, your center torso, and then it works from the outside in. So torso ammo is the last thing to be pulled out of your mech. Center torso and head are the first 2. Arms wind up being the next in line. And I like to try and keep everything pulled in such a way that my ammo is going to not be in my torsos. That way I don't have to waste the tonnage on case. So building this Archer winds up being 3.685, 1.42 heat efficiency. And he's only going to be a brawler if he ever happens to exhaust this inordinate amount of ammo. And by the time he does that, the 215s aren't being fired anymore, which means this would have a 1.72 heat efficiency with just those small lasers. And I'm not going to mess with the armor any because I like how that's set up. There we go. It's using all but 3 of its slots, so I could put in another double heat sink if I shredded another ton of armor, but I don't really need it. Speed is going to be 64.8. I don't really like it being that slow, but it is a missile boat, so it should be fine. They just did something here. It's the first time I've seen that happen. Usually it waits for you to come out of a match before it does that. Anyway, no jump jets. It's using the standard engine that came with it. Down here you have your sensor range. That tells you how far you can lock a target with your own sight without assistance from a friend. I did put double heat sinks on it. Maxed out its tonnage and everything. So the next step would be jumping into the testing grounds and testing it out. Painting it if you have colors. Obviously, I have plenty of colors and will be painting it. And once you've got your weapon groups all set up and know everything that you're going to be doing with the mech in the testing grounds, you're happy with how it goes, well, then you drop back into the game and start earning skills. The skill tree I'm going to cover in its own video because it is a very thick thing to look at overall. So we'll break that down some other time. Meantime, I hope that this was helpful to some of you. Good luck in future matches. If you liked the video, go ahead and like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.